Cheap acoustic-electric guitars look tempting on a budget site, but the moment you plug them into a PA and the tone turns thin or the pickup squeals, the regret sets in. I've seen a lot of people buy a starter model, only to discover it can't hold its own in a small club or even sound decent on a home recording rig. The question I kept asking myself was whether the Taylor 214 CE Plus actually feels like a smarter buy, or if it's just another pretty name with a price tag that could have been spent on a decent beginner guitar. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you walk into a music store and stare at the wall of Acoustic-electrics, the hesitation is real. You're weighing the risk of a cheap Spruce top that will break after a few gigs against the possibility of overpaying for a high-end concert model you'll never fully use. The 214 CE Plus sits in that middle ground, promising a concert-ready feel without the price of a 400 series. My own experience with similar Taylor models gave me a baseline, so I could focus on the specific trade-offs this guitar brings. First off, the Torrefied Spruce top is the headline feature that sets the tone literally. Torrefaction is a process that simulates the aging of wood, meaning the top behaves more like a decades-old instrument right out of the box. In a real-world setting, that translates to a sweet, articulate response when you're finger-picking a folk ballad in your bedroom, and enough projection to cut through a small PA when you're playing an acoustic-driven set at a coffee shop. I tried it during a live open mic, and the notes didn't get lost even when the room got a bit noisy. That kind of immediate maturity is something you usually have to wait years for with a standard Spruce top. The layered maple back and sides give the guitar a bright, focused sound. If you're a singer-songwriter who leans toward folk or pop, that brightness can help your vocal line sit on top of the mix without needing a lot of EQ in the PA. On the flip side, players who prefer a deeper, more rounded low-end think blues or fingerstyle jazz might miss the richness you'd get from a solid rosewood back. It's not a flaw, just a tonal character that aligns with certain styles better than others. The Ebony Fingerboard is another subtle but practical detail. Ebony feels slick under the fingertips, which can speed up chord changes when you're switching between a rhythm strum and a quick lead lick. In a rehearsal setting, I found it made moving up the neck smoother, especially when playing bar chords in the higher registers. However, some players with larger fingertips or who prefer a more tactile feel might find the smoothness a little too slick, leading to occasional slips when playing fast arpeggios. Now, about the electronics. The built-in pickup system on the 214 CE Plus is integrated under the saddle and is tuned for a balanced output. In a small venue, I could plug straight into a standard acoustic amp and the sound stayed clean, no harsh feedback, no sudden volume spikes when I dug in a hard strum. That reliability matters because, unlike cheap guitars that often require a separate preamp or a fiddly EQ knob, Taylor's system works out of the box. The downside. It doesn't include a built-in tuner or a dedicated volume knob on the guitar itself, so you still need to adjust your amp or a separate tuner for precise tuning on the fly. Weight and balance are practical considerations that only become apparent after you've lifted the instrument a few times. The maple neck and layered back give the guitar a solid feel, but it also adds a little heft compared to a full laminate travel guitar. For a guitarist who plans to lug this around for gigs every weekend, the extra pound is noticeable on a long walk to a venue. If you're a teenager or someone who travels light, you might prefer a lighter model with a slimmer profile, even if it means compromising a bit on resonance. So who should actually buy the Taylor 214 CE Plus? If you're an intermediate player who already feels comfortable with standard acoustic guitars and you want a reliable instrument that can transition from bedroom practice to stage without a major tonal drop, this one fits nicely. Singer-songwriters who need that built-in pickup for quick plug-and-play moments will appreciate the low-maintenance electronics. Also, if you're looking for an instrument that ages well both in sound and aesthetics, the Torrefied top and black finish give it a timeless vibe that won't look out of place after a few years on the road. On the other hand, beginners on a tight budget might be better off with a less expensive model that still offers decent tone but doesn't carry the same premium price tag. The 214 CE Plus is priced higher than entry-level guitars, and while you're paying for the Torrefied top and higher quality electronics, a brand new player could get a solid acoustic for less and upgrade later. Likewise, players who demand a deeply resonant low end for fingerstyle jazz or classical pieces